Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wine and Wellness Wednesday. I'm Lindsay Brantley, the founder of Camellia Alise and the Camellia Alise Academy, and I am super excited to be here with you guys today. I do have my whiteboard out, so I'm excited. Okay, so I know first thing, toast to you guys for making it through hump day, okay? Second thing, I really want to talk about, this is actually going to be a 3-week series. So the top 3 fears in body sculpting, right? So as someone who has been in this industry 10 years now, right? I get asked questions all the time, students, clients, going over fears, concerns. So I'm going to go over the top 3 that we see over and over and over again. And today I'm going to start with number 1 and some things that you guys can do to avoid it. So I actually, for those of you guys who are in the body sculpting group, I actually talked a little bit about this topic, and I gave a free medical clearance form. Okay, so you guys can go download that for free in the body sculpting professionals group. I talked about that during Wealth Wednesday about an hour ago. But the first fear, you guys, the number 1 fear that you guys have when it comes to body sculpting is going to be this: your clients' health and safety. Now, I know for some of y'all, the cameras are being a little weird. So your client's health and safety, right? Everybody is worried about, some of the other ones are results and different things. We'll get into that next week. But everybody is worried about, if I do this wrong, what can happen? What's the worst thing that can happen? Is my client going to be okay? Am I out of business? Am I about to be sued? Like, what is about to happen, right? So like I said, this is going to be week 1 of 3. I'm going to talk about this over the next 3 weeks, but this is the first, one of the main concerns I get asked about over and over again. So there's going to be 4 things that I'm going to go over with you that will help to alleviate this fear. Because at the end of the day, this is a problem, right? We're all worried. We want to make sure that we're doing things the right way for our clients. So for those of you guys that can't see, I know sometimes the video is backwards. I'm playing with the camera, but it says number 1 of 3, and it says your client's health and safety. Do not go hard on me because of my handwriting. Know that I'm an engineer first. So the first thing that I'm going to tell you that you need to do to make sure that you are keeping your client's health and safety first is ask the question, you guys. You have got to get a medical background. Okay? If you don't ask the questions, and not just ask once, you got to ask over and over again. You have to ask the clients. Let me say this. People will sign away their life to try to look amazing, right? So it's not enough just to say, oh, I'm going to send you this digital form and fill it out, and then they don't check anything, they sign it off, and you're done. No, you cannot skip a consultation, y'all. You have to ask the question again. Something as simple as, hey, I see that you didn't check anything out on the form. You didn't check anything. Just want to make sure that, you know, there are no medical issues I need to know about. You're not on any medication. Ask the question again. How many of y'all have been to the doctor, filled out all those papers, and then what's the first thing that the nurse does, right? She asks you the question. Okay, so you're not on any medication. This is your pharmacy. I'm like, didn't I fill all that out? It doesn't matter. They're going to ask you again to make sure you didn't forget anything. You didn't omit anything. Oh, and this has happened to us during consultation. Someone's like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you I have MS. How do you forget that you have multiple sclerosis? I don't understand it, but people do. You have to ask the question 2 and 3 times. The number 1 concern, health and safety, you can cut down on that fear by simply asking the questions and getting a medical background. That's the first thing. The second thing, and y'all know I'm going to talk till I'm blue in the face. The second thing that you have got to do to cut down on this fear, oh, that's ugly. Hold on. See, is training. You need to have proper training. So this is what I talked about in the group today. I gave y'all a medical clearance form, and I talked about some of the questions you need to ask. But you guys, stop always going to somebody. That person tells you, oh, well, if you have diabetes, you can't do this, and then you believe them and you move on. If somebody is training you, they don't just tell you, oh, if they have this, don't do it. Why? They need to be explaining to you why, so that when you tell your client that they cannot have a treatment because of condition A, B, and C, you need to be able to answer why. But if you're not properly trained, you figured out how to do this on your own and you're doing guesswork, you are putting yourself, your business, and your client in danger, you guys. So first thing is a medical background. You have got to know what kind of issues your client is having. And the second thing is you got to have proper training so that you understand not only what to do and what not to do, but why to do it and why not to do it. Okay? You've got to ask the questions and you've got to be properly trained. Okay? So that's going to be the second thing that will help you alleviate some of this fear. The third thing, and you guys, once again, I go over and over and over it again. The third issue that you're having that could be putting you and your client in danger: cheap equipment. Okay? Stop buying a $100 machine that you are charging $1,000 a service for. It makes no sense, you guys. You've got to make sure that you have the right equipment. And if you don't understand what equipment is the right equipment or what to do with the equipment, you guys, in my group, I literally had a lady that I had to explain why she needed to use ultrasound gel with cavitation, not oil, not minerals, not glycerin. No, you need to understand why you're doing what you're doing, not just do what you're told to do. Training matters, but also the equipment matters. A lot of y'all are wondering why your machine breaks down every 2 or 3 months. Are you using gel with your vacuum? Because I guarantee you that if you are using gel with your vacuum, it's not going to last long. Did you know that your vacuum has 2 filters that have to be changed, not just one? You know, you need to know what kind of equipment, but you want to make sure you have the right equipment, y'all. Stop buying $100 machines on Amazon and thinking you're going to make $1 million. It doesn't work that way. And people often ask, well, there's a machine that's a little bit cheaper. You get what you pay for. If you're paying $200 every 6 months because you're having to keep doing this over and over and over again versus paying, I don't know, $800 to $1,000 for a machine that lasts you 3 to 5 years, which one makes more sense to you? You have to make sure that you are using the right stuff. And then the last one that I'm going to go over, and like I said, I went over this in the group a little bit, but the last thing that can kind of help alleviate that fear of your client's health and safety is going to be simple. And this one, we have somebody coming to talk just about this. Communication and consent, you guys. Consent. And not just from your client. Not just proper consent from your client, but also from their doctor if they have an issue. At the summit, I literally have somebody coming from the UK to talk about the importance of informed consent. You're worried about your client's health and safety being affected, but one of the ways you can protect yourself and them is making sure that you get detailed information from the clients, that you're giving them detailed information about what is happening to their body, what's about to happen, what the machine is doing to them, what the machine is doing for them. And then also, if they do tell you that they have some kind of medical issue, that they get clearance from their doctor. I'm literally giving y'all clearance forms for free if you go into the Facebook group, because it matters so much, you guys. Like, you have to make sure that you are keeping yourself protected and keeping your client protected. That means you need to sign forms, they need to sign forms, you need to answer questions for them, let them ask questions. Get a medical background. And like I said, it's not good enough. It is not good enough to have someone do a questionnaire online and they come in and that's it. Like I said, every time you go to the doctor, you fill out a document, and then what's the first thing that happens? You go in there and the nurse asks you the same questions over and over again. I know that I clicked on that form that my medications haven't changed, but what do they ask you? So you had no changes in your medication? I know they asked me which pharmacy to use, but then the nurse still is going to say, okay, so the correct pharmacy is this. You know why they're doing that? Because they're trying to make sure that you didn't forget anything or omit anything. You have to ask the questions multiple times. It will protect you and it will protect them. So like I said, you guys, I'm going to do this for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to go over the top 3 fears that I keep getting questions and concerns, and how do I fix this, and how do I go over this, and how do I minimize this fear. So the first one that I'm going over this week is the health and safety of your client, because everybody is worried that if they do something wrong, they're going to get sued, the client's going to get hurt, they're going to get hurt. And it's true. It is very true. But the only way to alleviate those things are these 4 things that I have up here. Making sure that you get a proper medical background for your client, understanding what is going on before they come into you. Making sure that you get proper training so that you understand what the contraindications are. I have people all the time that were like, oh, well, I was told anybody can do wood therapy. There's no contraindications for it. Incorrect. There are contraindications for it. And like I said, don't just have somebody tell you, oh, if they're pregnant, they can't do it. Why? What's going to happen if I do it and they are pregnant, so that I can inform my client? Because guess what? My client is not going to be happy if I say, no, you can't get cavitation because you have, a heart condition. They're going to want me to explain why. So make sure that you get the training that you need to understand how to answer those questions for your clients thoroughly. The third one is making sure that you don't have cheap equipment, because you're not going to yield great results, and you could potentially burn your client. I've had a girl whose machine caught on fire. The machine caught on fire because it was a cheap machine that wasn't well built, and it wasn't for the service that she was doing. And then the fourth one is very simple, you guys. Communication and consent. Making sure that you protect yourself, that they fill out everything they're supposed to. You ask questions, they ask questions, they understand what they're about to do, what kind of results they should be getting. What fears do you have as a client? Is everything okay? You cannot skip a consultation, you guys. You can't. And then I do have a comment. This is the time right now while I'm talking to y'all. If y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, please put them up here. So I have one lady that says, I've taken multiple classes and they only provide a list of contraindications, never an explanation why. So many classes with missing info. Let me say this. We get comments like that all the time. And so what I would say is, are you doing your research and vetting the person that you are giving your money to? Okay. Have you gone to the Better Business Bureau to see if they have any reports of scamming or taking money, or do they help you after? Have you gone to Google to see what their ratings and reviews say? Have you actually looked at some of the clients, the students who went to that school? Because most of us post, oh, congratulations. Or even ask. I get asked all the time, oh, do you have 1 or 2 students that I can see their pages? Of course. They may not have 50,000 followers, but they are out there getting amazing results and doing some great things. I will share my students with you. But when you're not asking some of those questions, right, and you're looking at their social media, we all know social media has the best of the best of the best, right? Oh, this person's getting great results. But are they a good teacher, right? So sometimes my piece of advice would really just be to make sure that you vet the person, who you are going to invest this money in, that you're going to trust this person to teach you. Make sure that you vet them first. Can you get them on the phone? I tell y'all all the time, you need to call the office. If that person won't answer before you give them your money, do you think they're going to answer after you give them your money? No, they're not. So, and that's not, and let me just say this, that is a great question, by the way. That's a great comment. You are not the only one. We get that all the time. So I'm not picking on you. I appreciate the comment, but I just want you guys to know and understand that there are certain steps that you can take to try to protect yourself beforehand. And let me also say this, you might go in and take one of my classes right now, and I always explain the whys. I never just say, oh, don't do this or that. I always explain why. But let's just say there's a why on there that you still don't understand. That is why you get a free post-class consultation. Every class we do, digital, in person, whatever, you have 60 days to ask questions. We don't disappear here. But what kind of after-class support do they give you? I have a free public group. You don't even have to take my class. Body Sculpting Professionals on Facebook is free. You can literally go in there right now and ask a question, and if I don't answer it, 10 other people will help you, right? What kind of support system do you have? Because I don't care who you are, even if you just took an esthetician class, you are not going to know everything you need to know to be successful in that industry the day after your class. It just does not happen. You have to have support after. So you need to know what kind of support you're going to have. And hey, Miss Yo, I see you on here. She said consultation should continue during the service, also in the form of conversation. You won't believe how many clients disclose information that could affect the service. Exactly. So it's important with your medical background is number one. If your fear is I'm worried about my client's health and safety, and if I do something wrong, what's going to happen to them? The number one thing you can do is talk to them, and talk to them some more to make sure that that person is the ideal client for that service that you are giving them. Okay. So that's what I have for you guys today. I didn't want to make it long. Like I said, I'm actually going to celebrate my husband's birthday. Shout out to my husband. His birthday is actually tomorrow. We're surprising him tonight, but he never watches the live. He always watches the replay. So shout out to you when you see it later. All right, you guys have an amazing and wonderful evening. I'm going to go ahead and have a little bit more of this wine before I leave y'all, and then run out here and go celebrate with my hubby. If y'all have any questions, concerns, feel free to DM us. Email us at info@CameliaAlise.com. And next Wednesday, I will be back with fear number 2 and how to eliminate some of the issues with it, how to alleviate some of the fears when it comes to body sculpting. So next week, I will do number 2. Y'all be sure to tune in for number 2 next Wednesday. All right, y'all have an amazing evening.